This is North Carolina, the old North State, yours and ours.
That same day, they continued to Durham, North Carolina.
Its home folk bid you welcome.
The bus from Raleigh made a stop in Durham on the way through, and as our bus came in, we saw Johnson and Rustin being taken away by the police. Johnson and Rustin were in the second seat from the front on a Trailways bus. The driver asked them to move to the rear as soon as he saw them. Peck, who was seated in about the middle of the bus, got up after the arrest, saying to the police, "If you arrest them, you'll have to arrest me too, for I'm going to sit in the rear." So he was arrested.
I want you to step there, Ernie.
Durham, North Carolina.
This is the place, because I remembered.
I'm beginning to remember this is what it looked like, and this.
By this time, the writers noticed a pattern. The arrests only occurred on Trailways. In Durham, they overheard a Trailways official telling police, "We know all about this. Greyhound is letting them ride, but we're not."
The University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill is the oldest state-supported university in the nation.
In the liberal university town of Chapel Hill, the group looked forward to a respite.
We had this party that was student attended, and it was a very fun party. And since I liked to dance, I had a lot of fun.
Wally remembers all about those party things.
Yeah, George wasn't a party person.
I was too serious.
Yeah, he was on his way to heaven, and he couldn't take time to have fun.
This is Chapel Hill.
I'll be a son of a gun.
The bus station.
Where's the police station?
This is not the site.
This
that
is
we
a
came
different
to.
place.
Yeah, right.
Familiar landmarks have changed in 47 years.
What street are we coming to?
Chapel Hill bus station.
Well, right here.
That's it?
I believe
There's
it
the police
was.
station?
Yeah.
You betcha. Where's the bus station?
Been torn down.
Well, this is the place.
I think so.
Right here.
I think it is.
It's not the bus station as of today,
No.
but this is where it was.
The spot.
47 years ago. This building was not here. This whole area, including this parking lot, was the bus depot. And the taxi cab drivers were lined up along here and probably some across the way.
After a restful night, the group set out to leave Chapel Hill on April 13th. Andy Johnson and Joe Fellman sat 3 seats behind the driver.
The bus driver who got off the bus went to the police station,
Which is right across the way here.
well, I'm not sure where it was.
It was
actually.
right there. That was
Okay.
that was the building.
Well,
I
he didn't have
remember it
far
well.
to go.
Yeah.
And he complained to the police that a white man and a black man were sitting together on his bus.
Johnson and Fellman explained that they were friends traveling together. Even though Fellman was white and sitting up front, both were arrested.
Yeah.
The bus was delayed nearly 2 hours.
At this point, Egal Rodenko and Bayard Rustin felt that the reaction among the passengers was so positive, because people protested against the arrest, that they decided to move up from the back to the front.
Jim Peck, who was a writer traveling incognito, attempted to call Reverend Charles Jones, with whom the group had stayed the night before.
I remember the cabins parking over there. Some parked over there coming this way.
Yes.
And maybe some across the street, because there were quite a number of them.
While Jim was out making the phone call, the cab drivers attacked him, and he was struck.
I just happened to be passing when this occurred, when they were sort of being assaulted and insulted and everything else.
Charles's assistant at the church went by there and saw what was happening and called Charles.
I called Preacher Jones from down at the phone at the police station.
At the meantime, the cab drivers were organizing, and Charlie Jones came down in his car.
He went down and got the men, put them in the car, and brought them home. And the cab driver started after him, and he took a shortcut and got there before they did.
And I remember steaming up this street and then turning to the right and going up to Charlie's home and dashing across his lawn while the cab drivers were chasing us. And they got to his house, and then they came with rocks in their hands.
They threatened and had sticks and whatnot out front, but they stopped short of coming.
One of the cabs drove right up on the lawn, and I thought for a moment that the car was going to crash right through the door.
The sanctuary of the Jones home was short-lived. As daylight faded, cab drivers were still threatening.
A phone call came very shortly after that to Charlie Jones saying, get the niggers out of town or we're going to burn your house down. We then had to have a very quick decision about what were we going to do.
These riders had to go on to Greensboro, and they were afraid to go out. So we had to call the police, and it was a rather slow process according to my timing. And finally, a policeman came, and Charles took them to the county line with the help of the police.
I was 12, 1947. I guess I kind of found it exciting. I didn't know enough, I guess, to be fearful until we had to leave the house.
Charles Jones evacuated his family from their home for 2 weeks.
I remember driving to Greensboro, and I remember Mother kept turning around and looking out the back window, and I could tell that she was very upset and very worried, and I know now that she was looking for cars to follow us, and because they had said they would harm us.
I was
You
Charles's daughter, Betty.
I see.
Yes, I
Right.
was 12 at that time.
Oh, boy. Isn't that something?
It's just
Gee, it's good to see you after all these years.
Oh,
Yes.
I remember you was taller, but of course I was shorter.
The students rose up in our defense, and they came and stayed at my place. And while since Charlie and Preacher Jones and Dorcas weren't home, they stayed at the manse.
I think his name was Marty, was the person who stayed in the front room. They each had a room.
There was one morning that a guy came by and threw something toward the house. And
So he opened the window and got out onto the roof of the front porch, and he saw someone
the students went running out to grab him and to beat him up.
and said, "What do you think you're doing?" And this little boy said, "I'm just delivering the paper, mister."
Hilton, I'm Joe Feldman. I'm a member of the reunion event here. And we know that in Chapel Hill, when we were threatened by the cab drivers, that you called Charlie Jones and helped us out. So I'd like to crown you with this.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank
you very
Thank
much.
you, Hilton.
Thank you very
You
much.
don't have to worry. Our work is cut out for us. We will die trying to complete our work, which will never be completed for a long time, if ever. But thank you for your part in helping to make this society a better place to be. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I certainly
spoken,
appreciate
Paul.
that. Certainly appreciate it.
Right. Okay.